Okay,
Cool.
you're videoing.
Alright, so a lot of your issue is in that left hip. If we're looking, here's the trochanter. It feels like it's partially some of your piriformis muscle and then some of your glute max. So the glute max attaches from here and it's like a thick strap that comes down. Your fibers in particular, and then it almost kind of comes down below your trochanter, behind it. So then when you're moving and walking, it'll roll over that trochanter and flips, which is what I think is rubbing and then creating a lot of that inflammatory issue in the
That
back
clicking
of your hip.
that I'm
Yep.
feeling.
So we got to find a way to target those few fibers that are really tight. So there's simple ways to do it. What you noticed is on this leg, you're really stiff coming across because that's when you're stretching those fibers, right? As opposed to this side when it's much looser. So turn that resistance and that alteration into a stretch. So I want you to just bring your hips over to the side, but think of like windshield wipers.
Okay.
Right? So try and keep your back flat on the ground as best as you can. Letting this come over and just let it drop.
And it's okay if the hip comes off the
Yeah,
floor.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're just trying to see, is one side noticeably tighter than the other? And when you do these, hold it for like 2 to 3 seconds, and then go the other side. This is a simple way to warm up. If you notice this one's much tighter, after you do 10, 15 of these, holding it for 2 or 3 seconds, let's say this one's noticeably up tighter, take this ankle, grab it, and relax, and let it drop. And pull it
Ouch.
down further. And then pressure off, and pressure on. Pressure off, move your foot position. Is that different than that, right? Where does
Okay.
it feel like it's hitting your problem the most? And try and work into that. Pressure on, pressure off. Pressure on. These aren't long hold stretches. I want you to kind of think like you're trying to stretch out like cold taffy, right? You put it on the taffy puller,
Uh-huh.
okay? Another simple one is whereas you're here, you just kind of, it's a variation of that, and then you come up. Down, over, and up. Okay? Going back and forth. Do about 10 or 15 each side. Alright, the other one is that the capsule is really tight. The capsule is the shrink wrap around the joint holding the ball in the socket.
Uh-huh.
So what you can do, the way to stretch that capsule, when I was doing it for you, remember when I was pushing your knee down?
Mm-hmm.
That then pushes the ball deep into the capsule and you'll feel the stretch way kind of like deep in your butt. It's almost like the leg bone's going to come out your glute.
Okay.
So what you do is put your left knee down, put the right leg over, and then what you want to do is you want to kind of let your back arch a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and then you slowly come back and over to the side. And as you do that, it's not really far, but it's a different type of a stretch. Like right now is when I'm feeling it, and it's like right here. It's like this deep ache.
Okay.
And that's where you kind of want to stay and just kind of park it. And then just gently kind of move into that stretch. And then come back out till I don't feel a stretch here. And stretch on, and stretch off. Go back and forth. You kind of play with it. Just kind of meander around looking for where that resistance is and where that tension is. You can also do a bunch seated. So, foot up on the ankle, pushing down.
Yeah,
See
that's
what that
where I'm
feels like?
really tight at work.
Yeah.
When I feel like
10
when
or
I do
15,
it.
pressure on, pressure off, about 2-3 second holds. Bring that foot up. Is that any different? Tighter, looser, okay? The other thing is then instead of you just pushing this, keep that down, keep your back up nice and tall and straight, and then hinge forward. Big stretch. Pressure on, pressure off. Pressure on, pressure off, okay? When you kind of screen through these, I'm giving you a whole bunch. Find the ones that are most noticeable and the ones that feel like they target your problem. Do those, but make your own little routine, okay? And then you want to do that routine like 4 or 5 times a day.
Okay.
It should just take you a few minutes, but you could be able to fit it in kind of anywhere and everywhere. It's just trying to consistently target that one hip. Don't do it to both sides, I don't care. You're just trying to target your problem.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to, you can then do a little bit of ball work.
Yeah, I've been doing the ball and the rumble roller.
Yeah, that's good. What I would say is just picture that line, and you just want to trace the line all the way down. So start up at the top. When it feels like you're on your problem, your whole body's going to kind of want to pull away like it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you stay. And just breathe through your belly. As it slowly opens up, you should be able to sink into the spot a little better. Once you can, then you trace that line down, follow it. Because you'll notice, like, if as you move, I'm still on it. If I'm still on it, then you move, it's like, yeah, that's not it. Come back. find it. So you want to kind of trace that line all the way down to
Okay.
around the back of your hip.
Okay.
Okay? And you're going to probably have to sit up and play with it a little bit. Then even as you come to the outside, you're going to have to kind of roll on your side a little bit. Just tracing that line down. Do that like once a day or something.
Okay.
Cool?
Yeah.
Question?
Nope. Got it.
Because I think that you're getting this low-level inflammatory problem due to that chronic stiffness in these very specific angles. And the hard part is that if you just kind of cut and paste some of these stretches, they aren't hitting those specific points.
Problem areas.
So kind of give yourself latitude with these when you're doing these things. Like play with it. And you want to be able where it's like, okay, that's it. That's what you're looking for, and that's the whole point. Just try and stay on those little areas, stay on those angles. Start to identify how can I kind of fine tune it and really be laser guided with right where I'm trying to get that main problem. Then you want to try and load it consistently in a manner with which it'll give it enough load to change, but not so much you make it inflamed or mad. Okay, and that's why I want to do the stretch on, stretch off,
Sure.
stretch on, stretch off. Because that way, like one prolonged hold can sometimes irritate it, especially if you do it regularly. But they call it like a flow more stretching. You know, it's just getting into the stretch, coming out of the stretch, getting into the stretch, coming out of the stretch.
Okay.
Okay, you're all set.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Well, it's just, you're still showing signs of some low-level inflammation in the hip. You know what I mean? So, if we go at this too much, we can get it all fired up and mad. So it's just we're trying to see, can we open up the mechanics to where it's like that's going to start to feel more equal to that side.
Side.
And you can just make up different stretches, just make up stuff. Whatever doesn't feel equal, left to right, turn that thing that the left can't do into one of your stretches. Do that. Like if this
Okay.
is really easy and this is kind of stuck, well, that's now one of your things. And don't do it to both sides, only do it to the stuck side. Cool?
Okay. Sounds good.
You're so good.